Welcome everybody. Good morning to the Business Builder Podcast. I am Justin Gates, aka Brother Juice, and joining me today is Miss Lee Norwood with the College Sharks, College Consulting, right?
Yes.
And go ahead. Well, first of all, Lee, you've been very busy. She has recently just done an article on Huffington Post, and last week it was USA Today, and what was the other one?
MSN Business Insider.
MSN Business Insider. Check out the YouTube channel College Sharks. There is tons of informational stuff there. If you Google her name, like I did, you will find a slew of articles and videos. But just for people that might not know, what is it that you do and what are the pain points that you solve for your clients?
So as a college consultant, there's a lot of changes that happen every day. So parents want to know, when the heck do I start the college process? How the hell am I going to pay for college because prices have soared? And how do I find the right schools for my kids so they get that ROI? There's a herd mentality in high school. Kids try to go to all the same schools as each other. So I try to solve all that and clear it. But I have to talk to you about the being in the press, because I'm also in CEOs 30 under 30, and I haven't been 30 for a long time. So they made a mistake. But I'm not taking it off the website.
No, don't take it off the website. That's mine now, suckers.
Yep,
it's
thank you very much.
Well, but it's good to be recognized for the work that you do, because when I try to do some research, right? I'm trying to be professional here. And so when I started looking into it, I was like, wow, this woman has been busy. I mean, you have been doing a lot. And I think it'll come through. I think it comes through because I watched some of the YouTube videos. I read some of the articles. And the passion that you have for helping these young people and their parents try to align the child with the proper program in school, it comes out a lot. Because, we're going to talk about how it's different, because I'm 52 and I went to college later, but I went to a community college because I knew in high school, because I was in the top 10% of my class, and all of my friends were like, they're applying all over the place. And they were like, are you going to go? And I was like, no, I'm not going to go. I was like, you've known me since middle school. Do you think I'm going to go to college and take it seriously? I'm not. I'm going to go in there and chase chicks and party my butt off. And that's all I'm going to do. It'll be a waste of time. It'll be a waste of money. And I'll come out in debt and I won't have accomplished anything. I knew that. I knew that at 17. I knew that at 18. But some of my other friends who were more serious than me, they went on to NC State. Some of them, I don't know where the other ones went, but they went on to get their degrees. A friend of mine, brilliant woman, one of the smartest people I've ever known. She has 5 degrees, okay? She's my age, and she's been in the nursing field for 30 years, and I think she's going for her doctorate of nursing, okay?
Wow.
That's good accomplishments. However, she will be in debt for her whole life. Mm-hmm. And now granted, she makes the income to support all that and still support herself with the lifestyle that she wants, but she's in debt for the rest of her life.
Right.
That's not attractive to me.
No.
So, all right, I want you to mention bands and burgers, because I think that's an important thing to touch on.
Okay. So, you have to have what you do for a living, and hopefully you love it and you're passionate about it, which I am. I will clear this. I am the mother of a highly motivated student who went to NC State, go Pack, went to NYU, and then finished up in France. But my other kid, who might be smarter, and she gets so mad when I say this, but my son, school wasn't for him. And he is a U.S. Marine, and I am a proud mom of a U.S. Marine, and a kid who went through the trades track in high school, so I don't really ever have to pay to get my oil changed either. So I don't think college is for everyone. And I have seen through my business that because I work with teenagers, I speak teenagers, the mental health crisis is horrible. So my why behind this is I want to lower family stress, right? Don't want you to be confused through the process. I don't want you to go into all that debt. And Burgers and Bands is there because we believe #YouAreNotAlone. You can go and read about why we got started, but we are a celebration of people who come through mental health. We work with veterans and kids and music and pull it all together and give away, I would say 95% of what we raise to help schools and organizations fund their mental health programs because they haven't been funded. It's a whole new thing, this whole new crisis, and 3 and 4 letter words, ADD, ADHD.
Right.
It's all new. I can tell you why, but so I'm passionate about Burgers and Bands for suicide prevention.
Well, since you brought it up, I like the fact that that you use yourself as an example, and one child did go the college route and one child didn't, and I like that you admit and acknowledge that college is not for everybody, and so every student should not be pushed towards the college route to possibly take on a life altering course that is going to saddle them with that for many moons, and they may or may not even complete, right? So what is your process or thought process with that?
Oh, I need more clarity on the question.
So, all right, if you're talking with a parent, or you get like, how do you break it to the parents or to the student that, hey man, maybe college is not the thing for you. Maybe perhaps trade school, perhaps this school, perhaps something else, right? If you get somebody that's like, man, I just want to go to college, but they just are not really a good fit for it, and you know it, right? You know it, you can see it, and you're like, no, you know what? If you do this, you're just gonna. I can look it down the future because I've done this for a while, and that you're going to end up terrible. Do this instead, and you'll be much better off. So how do you broach that with parents and students?
Right. So first of all, most of the parents that come to me for the one-to-one consulting, they already know their kids are college bound. So my first question for them is always to the student, why do you want to go to college? Mm-hmm. That answer is because it's what I'm supposed to do, because my family always has, because it sounds like it's fun. Or like the student last night, well, I want to go get an international relations degree. I'd like to go to NYU or Fordham for law school, and then I'd like to go to work at the Hague. Wow, his frontal lobe has closed faster than most young men at 17.
Right, yes.
So those are the people that I'm talking to that are reaching out and saying, oh, I want a college consultant, because a lot of people don't even know what we do. It's the College Sharks piece that I built because I want to reach all those other families who just stay confused. Mm-hmm. They have no idea what to do. I moderate like 3 great parent websites as the college admissions expert, and with the class of 2025 right now, I can't even look at the posts anymore because I want to scream, if you had just called me last year,
right,
I could have solved all these problems for you. So why do you want to go to college? That's how I start. And then the second thing is we have to go with price, because you're going to work really, really hard. You're going to only go to Tulane. That's where you want to go. I'm going to tell you, you have to go early decision and be full price. And when you get in and you're psyched, your parents get a bill for $90,000 a year. And no merit aid, because the guy behind you will pay it. So if you're not going to, see you later. Now that isn't 100%. People are going to post now, oh, my kid got money at Tulane. There are always asterisks. There are always programs. There is Pell eligibility. My student was Pell eligible. But
sure,
overall,
but the exception proves the rule. It doesn't disprove.
Proves the rule.
It doesn't disprove the rule. So let's talk about that. So again, I'm 52. I graduated in 1990, and back then it's like what? Like 30,000 per half a year? You know, I was like, wow, that's a lot, right? But it has quadrupled or something since then. I mean, you used to said 90,000 a year for Tulane, or is that for just one semester?
Oh no. When I talk about college costs, I'm talking all in: room, board costs, and tuition. So let's just clear that up. And it might be not specifically 90,000, but we're going to be upward of 80 with a lot of these schools. Do you ever remember in the old days, since we're old, when you would shut your hotel room door and there'd be a rack rate card on the back and it said the room was worth $250 and you paid $89 and you're like, A, I wouldn't have paid $250, and B, why did I only pay $89? They're posting a price, but they're not expecting people to pay that price. Right? Unless it's a highly selective school that other people are willing to pay full price to get into. But there are ways to lower the cost of tuition. Most of my kids don't pay full price, and that's through merit aid. How's that? That is the quality of your application and things you start doing in 10th grade, not in September of senior year.
Right, yes. Yeah, that was a point too, because most of the people that I knew that were college bound, they were thinking that, well, it's 6th, 7th grade. They already knew. You know what I mean?
Oh, I can smell those kids coming. They're different.
Well, but they walk like grown-ups. They speak like grown-ups. You know what I mean? And that was a lot of my friend group. Now I was a knucklehead, but I hung out with all these different people, and I was like, I mean, I knew a guy. I met him in 6th grade when I moved here to North Carolina from Alabama, and I was like, I just looked at him. I was like, dude, like, you're going to be one of the most successful people of our whole class. I just already know. He comes with a book report. I come with like 1 page, you know. I'm like, I got 1 page for a book report. That dude came with a trifold setup and a freaking like spiral bound notebook, you know. And I was like, this dude is prepared.
Well, he's prepared, and his extracurricular activity is academia.
Yeah.
There are kids that is what they want to do with their free time: research, plan, do things. There's other kids that aren't, but I mean, I don't know. I also want to just say that there's two ways to pay for college. One is merit aid, which is pick the right school and make sure they're going to give you a scholarship because they want you. The other is financial need-based aid, and the proxy for that is the FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. I have no control over that. It's all about how much money you make and what your assets are, and the government gives you a number of what you're supposed to be able to pay. And all of my upper middle class families go, I can't afford this.
Right.
Why is it so high? If you're in a lower income bracket, you might be Pell eligible. You get a lot of grants. They make
Sure.
it super easy. Harvard, they'll meet 100% of demonstrated financial need. Those aren't the people that are calling me. Those are the people I want to call me because I want to help them.
Right. Something that I came across in my research was like the holistic thing, and I was like, I wanted to get your thoughts on that because it's like, what do you think about that? Okay, I can already tell. Good. You have thoughts. Because I can see where I think there's two camps, right? The one camp is like, well, you take the whole person. It's not just their grades and this and that. But then those kids who are busting their butts to get the grades, it just devalues all their work.
Yeah, I have a lot of comments on the holistic college application. First, I'm going to tell you that I think it's a beautiful thing. It is a word that's come across in the last 3 years. Colleges say we're going to take a holistic review of your student. But holistic doesn't mean some things don't matter more than others.
Right.
So what do you think the number one thing colleges look at when they look at your application is?
How much money your parents have.
No.
Because they want to make that loan pay back.
They don't. They're going to get paid either way. It's cash to them when it hits their account. The number one thing they look at is what classes do you take.
Right.
So did you push the curriculum at your high school? Grades inflated with AP classes and things like that. Colleges don't look at that inflated grade because some schools can't offer those many APs, so they're going to look at the unweighted GPA. I'm telling you that now. You heard it here first. The weighted GPA helps you with your class rank at your high school. Okay. How do you rank in your high school? So what classes did you take? How did you do them in them? And then your test scores, which were optional. We can talk about that later. Then leadership in a few activities that you can explain well. So if you're running around just volunteering so it looks good, it doesn't.
Right.
Then your personal essay, which is the first time your 17-year-old self gets to say something that you want to say that isn't in a rubric from your English teacher. Right.
And unfortunately, most 17-year-olds just can't articulate their ideas well, and that's why they need help.
Well, they can. They've just been formatted to open 3 points, conclude.
Right.
I don't want to read a statement like that.
Right.
So it's free writing, and I love finding that with kids. That is so super fun to do.
So since we're on that, like what do you think stuff like ARA and ChatGPT as far as helping them write essays, is like plus, negative, helpful, hurtful? I mean, because they're doing it.
All right, so we need to have a whole other conversation on that. It's here.
Right.
It's here just like the World Wide Web came. It's here just like Google came. We're going to deal with it. It's going to maybe help you be more creative. But if you're a cheater, we're going to see through it. We're going to see through it. But there are ways to use ChatGPT that I think can be a tool. So when they're doing that holistic review, that school may weight that essay more heavily, or they may weight those test scores more heavily, but they're going to look at everything.
Right.
The only time you get to use your voice is in the essay. So use your voice. You're 17. If you sound like your parent wrote it, I already know.
Yeah.
But it's here to stay. So come on, we'll deal with it.
What are admission myths that persist despite not being true anymore?
I wish we could just have viewers call in and I would just dispel them all.
Top 3.
You don't have to pay full price for college. You don't have to pay full price for college. But that doesn't mean you're going to go to Chapel Hill for $5,000.
True that.
It means you need to have the right schools on your list for your kid, so that school says, I'm going to lower the cost of tuition because I want your kid on my campus.
Right.
So you don't have to pay full price. Second is that, gosh, I don't even know what second would be. What is another myth? Oh, that it's just a junket. Nobody needs it. College isn't needed anymore.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on because
Yeah.
again, like, so, I mean, is it even worth it? And I'm like, oh yeah. So I'm one of these people that think, okay, college isn't for everybody, but for the people that it is for, we need them there.
Yep.
Okay, because they're going to be the future leaders, they're going to be the future innovators, they're going to be the doctors, the lawyers, the engineers, you know, all the STEM fields. We need all that stuff.
I still need my electricity turned off
Right.
and on.
We need all these things.
Plumbing.
So those people, but again, there are some kids who are just meant and built for the trades, right?
Yep.
And they should go there. So, you know, is it? Let's ask this question: why is it worth it?
Okay, why is college worth it? Me, I went to Elon College, now Elon University. My degree means way more today than it did in 1990.
Right.
But I think that the freshman experience can't be done the same way and in any other form of life. You're going to meet your friends for life. You're going to learn to be an adult. You're going to wash your clothes. Somebody could say, yeah, boot camp does that too. And it's true. I think the people that you meet, the professors, the opportunity to do research, the alumni, if you use the skills, it's there for you. I got my first job in medical sales because of Elon,
Right.
their career services. They helped me become who I was. But I also chose to go to a small school. So when I crossed the graduation thing and shook the president's hand, he was like, "Lee, you made a mark on the school." That's not happening at Texas A&M.
No,
you know?
no, you go to a big school, man. Yeah, because it's hard to be a big man on campus at a big school.
But you're growing, and if you take advantage of it, you should. If there's free food offered, kids should go because they're going to meet people. They're going to join a club. They're going to do something new. Then you have the school that says, "Well, Zuckerberg dropped out of Harvard."
Yeah, well, you know, Zuck and Elon Musk and Steve
Dude, he got
Jobs
into Harvard.
and
Let's just get you there. If
Yeah,
you can get in, rock
mean,
on, drop out if you want to build a
there's
business.
Michael Dell, there is,
Yeah.
you know, LeBron and Kobe, but just like, you look, take athletes off the table because like most of y'all aren't going to make it at the college level, and then if you do get to college, you're not going pro. Like only, what is it, 1% or something go pro?
Yeah, and then the only athletes that are getting any real money are athletes that put butts in seats and make money for the school. So that's basketball.
Right, basketball, football.
Football. Okay, they want to say women's basketball. Not yet. We're getting there.
Well,
and maybe lacrosse.
Caitlin Clark out.
No, yeah, right. That school's rocking, and she's made a mark. So look at what she did with college. She changed the world.
She did. She did. She made people watch women's basketball.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And they treated her so
I know.
so poorly. And she's like, "I'm out." And I was like, "Good. Go somewhere." Like somebody told me once, you know, don't stay where you're hated, go where you're celebrated. You
Go
know?
where you're
And it's like,
celebrated.
so Europe wants Caitlin Clark. I say, go for it. Make that money.
Yeah. But I mean, I think the college education at the end, you've got those career services, you've got those things that are going to help you. You're going to learn all of those adulting skills. Can you learn some of that in community college? Of course you can, but it's not the same as a freshman year experience at a college. And if you choose to go to community college first, just know that makes you a transfer student, and you have to have X amount of credits to be a transfer student. So community college is usually a 2-year commitment. It's not like I can take a few classes after high school and then go.
Right.
So there's a lot of subtle nuances. I loved it. I think it's worth it. It changed my life. And everywhere I go, if I have Elon on, it's like automatic tribe if somebody else went there, no matter how old they are. Trends.
Okay.
A long time ago, you had to handwrite your applications or type your applications.
Right.
You're tired after writing one or two. That's it. Now they have what's called the common application. Kids can apply up to 10 at one time. Now they've allowed you to open that and take all those schools out and put another 10 in. Kids applying to 20 schools is ridiculous.
That's too many.
And they said this year, I think it was 50% of college applicants doubled the number of schools that they applied to. So all of you that got deferred from Clemson, it wasn't because they didn't like you, it's because they got so many applications that round one was, okay, we'll look at them later, this one's a no way. We'll look at them later, this one's a no way. They just have to clean it out and then look again at the pool that should have applied there in the first place. So we've got application inflation. We've got test optional. Kids are applying way above their
where they should apply.
ability level,
Yeah.
right? So, and then we have grade inflation. Poor COVID, you didn't learn. We're going to go ahead and give you that A because, gosh, this was hard for you.
No.
Does not mean you learned Algebra 2.
No. Look, one of the things that's a couple years ago, but one of the things that I saw was like one of these entrepreneurial guys was like, look, it was a podcaster that I liked and I listened to. And he goes, man, I have a lot of college kids coming to me asking me if they can work for me. And I'm like, well, what can you, he's like, this is what I need. Can you do this? He's like, and they don't know it. And he was like, you know what? I'd rather hire somebody who never went to college but built a platform or built a channel or they know how to do the thing that I want them to do, so I don't have to take my time and then teach them how to do it. It's like, if you went to college, you should know how to do this. And you shouldn't come to me for a job and then I have to train you for the job that you applied for because you should already know it. What do you think about that? Like, do you see that is happening? Is it trending upward or downward?
So first of all, I'm going to think that all high school curriculum should have financial management, how to mail a letter, how to pick up a phone and make a phone call. I mean, come on.
Or just
With
networking
life
in
skills,
general.
one-on-one, and
Yeah.
networking. So there's a lot of schools, high schools, that you've met your curriculum requirements and you can take a half day senior year.
Yeah.
Don't go to the community college, and it's called dual enrollment, so that counts as part of your high school time. And take that business class, take that accounting class, take a class in what you think you might want to be when you grow up and learn those life skills. So Life Skills 101 should have started in high school.
Yes.
It didn't. So now we're in college. I think part of that opening program that schools have for first years should be those life skills. And it's sad to say, but I mean, kids don't know how to buy a stamp.
Nope.
Did you know they're almost 79 cents now? I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, that's why.
Write a check. They
Build
don't need
an
to.
email list and then just email everybody.
But I mean, there's real things, right? Writing a check's not gone. These kids are digital natives, but they're not life skill natives. So yeah, I worry about that, and I think that's why kids flounder in the first year. And out of 10 kids, how many do you think don't come back to the same school the second year?
Oh, it's probably 80% or more.
No, it's not that bad.
Is it okay?
So 3 out of 10 don't come back.
All right. Well, that's
That stinks.
Not bad. But it's not as bad as I thought it was.
But if you worked with me, you wouldn't have that problem because you would have had the right school. You
Right,
would have
the
been
first time.
prepared.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're going to be able to self-manage at all the parties. It's a real thing. It's a problem. But yeah, so we want you to find a school that takes good care of their freshmen. That's called their sophomore retention rate.
Yeah. Yeah. What about, so talking about trends here, you talked about early decision before. Now, what does that mean?
So
How early?
so everything on August 1st before your senior year, you're officially a senior. That is when you're official. Oh, you are now anointed a senior.
Yeah.
So you can start applying then. Schools all have deadlines, and deadlines don't mean 5 minutes before that day at midnight, but there are ways to apply. So there's a big trend, especially on the East Coast and in this area, of applying in that early round. I'm just going to talk about the most popular. There's early decision and early action. Early decision means I like you and I'm going to ask you to marry me. And if you say yes, we're walking down the aisle. You have no other choices. We are locked in.
Right.
That's early decision. It's binding. It's a commitment. Your counselor has to sign off on it. And there's other things we could talk about, but that is that. Early action is you're going to date a few people early, right? I like this school, this school, this school. I'm going to apply to those and see if I get my answer back before the turn of the new year, right? So most colleges, that's when they have their pool of money.
Yeah.
So all of my kids go in that early action round, because also if you don't do well in that early action round, you have regular decision, which usually starts end of December, January. It's great for a kid who needs to show off those senior year first semester goals because maybe they weren't making good decisions before.
Right.
I'm showing an upward trajectory. And then there's rolling, which means the college is going to keep looking until they're full. And I think there's a strategy to use with all of those. But right now, if you want to go to an SEC school in the South that's huge and just won a bowl game, you need to go early decision and get in there because they're inundated with applications.
Oh yeah. So we hit on that. Well, you know what? I don't know how much we hit on that. What about test optional policies?
Okay. standardized testing shows college readiness.
Okay.
It just does. They've proven that. There are some disparities with standardized testing when you look at a socioeconomics, because if you have a parent who did not go to college, or if you have a parent that wasn't educated in the U.S., or if you're from a certain socioeconomic group, you think the one time you take the test is when your high school gives it, and that's it, the score's the score.
Right now.
You start moving up the wealth scale, they're buying tutors. They're paying for packages.
Right.
The kid's taking the test 5 times because they can super score the English and the math. So in those options, I don't like testing because I think it discriminates. But at the end of the day, it shows college readiness. And you tell me, if you can't jam Algebra 2 on the SAT, you should not be applying to MIT.
I agree.
And they're one of the first schools that brought it back. So they took it away because of COVID.
Right.
Testing centers couldn't open. There have always been a handful of test optional schools, but those policies on a big way changed. Most schools in the U.S. are still test optional. Most of the schools your kids are going to talk to you about and they want to go to are not.
Right.
Because they're the most popular ones.
Yeah, that's where all they want to go. I mean, and that's the thing. That's what I was.
But can you sit down? Can you study? What's the best way to get better at what you do?
By doing it.
Practice.
Yep, you got to do it. You got to put the reps in. It's like anything. You have to put the reps in. What do you think there are some either schools or programs that are just like hidden gems, right? Because I know some that are like, oh, these programs or these schools, and they have fantastic programs, they have fantastic campuses, they're not crazy expensive, they want good quality candidates to come in. Do you have any of those off the top of your head, or can you say?
Oh yeah, like right now, and don't look at the sticker price after I say these schools, because they're willing to work with you. Lees McRae is awesome.
I've heard. I had a friend go to Lees McRae on a wrestling scholarship.
Awesome, and you want to go. Maybe you're going to be a park ranger. Maybe you're going to do something outside. Like, it just preps kids for that. There's a school called Missouri S&T. They just got a huge endowment. They are able to try to attract more kids. They're growing.
Right.
They want you. Other alternative tracks are, you can like join a Corps of Cadets at Virginia Tech if you want to try to put together like a ROTC and a college. And there's also a new thing called a gap year. They call it a pause with a purpose.
Right.
You don't just take the year off
right.
and scoop ice cream. You have to have a purpose so that you remain a freshman when you decide to apply to college, which you want that ability to be a freshman. But you've done something you can have a story about, and gap years can be very expensive and planned by others, or you can plan it yourself.
Right.
You might need a year again to close that frontal lobe and mature, or you do we called it VOTAC in Maryland. You do that alternate route in high school, and you get good at something.
Yeah.
And you go intern under somebody who has a license. And then you go get a license, and they can't take that away from you. That's a big thing.
Right.
And then you've set yourself up for success, or go work for somebody that's going to pay for you to go to college.
The social media thing, right? I want to touch on this because, again, we talked before where I forget the name of the celebrity, but her daughter got on that. She was on the rowing team.
Felicity Huffman and another person. So Felicity Huffman, I don't think was as egregious about it as the other person, but
her daughter was on the row team. She never rowed before, was never there. She got the scholarship, and I'm like, oh, that's awful, because you're literally taking somebody else's spot that deserves it, and you don't.
Right. So that is what's given what I do for a living a really bad name. That was called a backdoor, side door. This guy named Rick something was doing it. He was using favors. He knew coaches. They put that girl's head on the coxswain's, or coxswain, I can't remember how you say it. That's the person who calls row on the rowing team.
Right.
If she had done it the right way and really been that athlete, they would have had to listen to her. They do an audio track, this and that. They knew somebody, came in the side door, put her on the team at USC.
Right.
I look at that and say, you had enough money your whole life to have gotten tutors, do better, get your SAT score up, and get in the damn school on your own.
Yeah.
Maybe not USC, but
somewhere else.
The UCLA, Berkeley.
There are all of those out there, right?
All of them. The other person, who I don't think hers was as egregious, her daughter, she took her to an alternate test site.
Right.
Her daughter had no idea. And someone, and if my facts aren't right, this is not false news, this is just what I remember. The proctor of that class checked her answers because she had extra time. So this kid went thinking she took the test and turned it in. And that was that. They then had that proctor make sure she got a certain score.
Okay.
So that kid didn't know. I feel bad for that kid.
Right.
But again, mom, pay for a tutor.
Yeah, if you're a celebrity, yeah, you know. But the thing that got me, one of those girls, and I don't know if it was one of those two, but one of them went and she was like, "Oh, I'm just here." She went on her social media and was like, "Oh, I'm just here for the college life and the parties."
Lori Loughlin's daughter.
That one right there, I was like, I hope they kick you out. Because everybody that busted their butt to get in there and worked for the spot by doing all the things we talked about, getting the grades and doing the extracurriculars and doing volunteering and leadership and early decision and planning and all that stuff. You get somebody look at like 6th, 7th, 8th grade and they're talking about this and they're looking about this and they come to you, somebody like you, and do all this planning beforehand and that chick gets my spot. Yeah, I'm mad. So that one, I was like, kick her out. And I forget what school it was, but I was like, you got to get. They and I think they did. I think they actually did.
I think it was USC. I'm not sure though. I will say that there is still ways to get in. The Ivy Leagues have been accepting the same number of students for decades, and Harvard had to uncover how they look at their schools, and they look at their attendance and who they're going to accept. And yeah, legacy, they'll say it doesn't matter, it matters.
It matters.
You buy a building, your kids should go for free. Sorry.
Yeah,
I mean, let's do it.
I agree.
But connections and who you know and country club sports keep kids out of those high-level schools, because a kid in a low-income area, other than, Serena and her sister, aren't playing high-level tennis, high-level golf, rowing, sailing. So they give those kids more attention. So there are ways to keep kids in out of those elite schools, but I want to talk about the middle and where you should go, and I want your kid to have 9 schools where they would love to be so that you're celebrating at the end.
Right. I totally agree, because I think that part of the thing is that people need to set realistic expectations. And I think social media's got a lot to do with that, influencing these young people to not have realistic expectations.
There's 2 pieces of social media I wanted to talk about. Colleges do not have time to go look up your social media, right? They're not looking at your social media, but if you're on the cusp and they don't know if they're going to let you in or not, that admissions officer might go look at your social media.
Right.
So clean it up, make it right. Don't put anything on there that you couldn't let your grandma see. Just run clean. We all know you have Finstas and Instas. We know all that.
Yeah.
But
you think we're stupid.
Yeah, we're not dumb. We just figured out how to do it, or we say, just make that happen for me. That's what I do to my kid. But on the other hand, for College Sharks, really getting people to understand what we're doing. It's 1/10 of the price of working with us one-on-one. I almost just hired an influencer to go on and say, I liked College Sharks, it helped me, and then I thought, that is just a bold-faced lie. I'm about to pay somebody who has a presence in the media to say, College Sharks got me where I am. I can't do it, but brands are doing that.
Yes, they are.
Because media is shoving things down their throat, rabbit holes, all of these different things.
But if you get if you get an endorsement from somebody who would do it for, don't pay them. And that's what I would ask for. I'd be like, hey, if you enjoyed this and you like the result that you got, would you mind just giving an endorsement?
Yeah, so go look at my Google reviews for Annapolis College Consulting. They're all real.
Yeah. What about, you mentioned mental health.
Yeah.
I think it's important because, again, the COVID did a number on these kids, right? It really did. It took them out of school. They couldn't socialize with their friends. A lot of them that were younger at the time, they were developing, and they missed some of those key developmental areas in the social field and how to communicate with other people, and that's going to stay with them for a while. Yep. So I don't know, again, this is your industry, not mine, but how many, or do you see that there is a trend of consultants that are incorporating the stress management mindset into their coaching programs? Or as part of the process that you work through with them?
So I'm a big advocate of doing what you do well, and then hiring the rest. So
Right.
I actually just sent out on my mailing list a podcast from a friend of mine, and she absolutely talks about teen mental health. So I'm going to give you places to go to get those resources. I am not going to try to help you outside of what I'm good at, which is also why I don't consult on financial aid in your bank account. It's not my ballywick.
Right.
But it is a part of the process, and I made a huge mistake this year. It was I work with a lot of kids. One came rolling in late, read her essay, it wasn't good, and it was about stress. And my comment to her was, I can't read one more essay about stress. Everybody's writing essays about stress. Find something else to talk about. It's just like learning to cook from your grandmother. Maybe you did. I've read 80,000 essays on that. How can you be different? Let's write about, and I gave her an idea, and she came back in tears because she really was stressed. She did have a mental health journey.
Right.
She was one of the really affected people, and I was numbed by all the ones that were trying to use it as an excuse. We're all stressed, we all have anxiety. This kid really had it, and I had to apologize to her parents and to her, and we then crafted that essay so it was authentic, so the readers at the colleges didn't take my same view.
Right.
Like, you got to be different. We are getting numb to you when making the game-winning catch.
Look, every time you go on social media and all you see is some chick crying into her phone about something, it starts to lose its efficacy.
You watched that this morning, didn't you?
No. But it's everywhere, right? You can't scroll on anything without somebody crying about something.
Nope. That's why our channel is authentic. It's usually me walking my dog and I have a thought and I call it, oh, I heard that. And I'll say, I heard that my neighbor got a full ride. And my answer will be, no, they didn't. They may have gotten tuition. Unless they've been recruited as a football or basketball player.
Yeah, I get a full ride.
Do not listen to sideline stuff. Do not listen to a parent who put one kid through school. Do not get that herd mentality and listen to all your friends who tell you what you need or don't need to do. The information is out there. You don't have to go through me, it's out there, but you got to pick the right sources.
Right. That's
straight.
That's the hard part too, is picking the right sources, I think, because you start to Google stuff, you start to research stuff, and then, Google will give you 10,000 results. And obviously you're not going to go past the first 1-2 pages, but if somebody pays for results that's terrible information, then you just have to be careful with it. I mean, and as an adult or as a parent, you need to educate yourself on how to find the good information and the good resources.
And how to do this on the sidelines. Because people brag, parents brag, SAT scores go up by 150 points. It's all this braggadocious thing going on, and you need to have one TV channel. It needs to be yours and your family, and you decide what you're going to listen to.
Right. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's, what do they call it? It's a media fast, right? Like, I'm shutting down Facebook and everything for a month,
Yeah.
Like a electronic detox, a social media detox. Yeah, I think those are important to do.
I'm about to go on one.
Yeah?
I'm going sailing for 10 days and leaving that at home.
Sweet.
I know.
Where are you going?
I'm going to go to the BVI's with some best friends whose kids I helped through the college process.
There you go.
And they said, you didn't charge us, so we're not going to charge you. Get on the boat.
Fantastic.
I could live in a barter society.
Yeah. Hey, look, if you're going to the British Virgin Islands, I mean, for free, I'm like, hey.
I'm just ready to detox and bring it down, because right now in my life, I'm having hysterical parents call me.
Yeah, you've been on a tear, though. You have really been you've been burning the candle from both ends for quite a while, I think.
Yeah, and I'm in between, what college list are we going to build for you, Junior? And trying not to say to the parents, I told you so, I told you so, I told you last year this was going to happen. Now it's happening.
Yeah.
And let's just lower that. That's my help in mental health. I want to just lower the family stress through the process. So you can follow me on social media and you'll get tons of good information from good sources.
Right.
You don't have to pay, but kids always do better with a guide. So you'll like this.
Yeah.
So here's the rub. Private schools are a little different than public, but public, it's 400 to 1, that counselor to that student. They can't focus on the juniors because they're focusing on the seniors, and they're dealing with mental health, behavior, blah, blah, blah. So when you work with a helper, you can do, that's called going to the gym. You could be more intentional, go to take a group fitness class.
Right.
Right? That's maybe getting with a group of people that are going to help you and using that helper. Or you can hire a personal trainer. You're going to get faster results just for you, and you're going to get them really focused, so you're not working with anyone else. So you're going to get the same result way quicker with way less effort because
Right.
you're not spinning. So maybe that's a plug for your other business, but I'm telling you, coaches are around for a reason.
Yeah, and look, show me an athlete that doesn't have a good coach. You know, Tiger Woods had his swing coach for forever, and he was doing good, and then he was like, I think I'm good without him. And then when he didn't have that coach, his game suffered, and he's like, no, I need my coach back, you know.
Yeah, it's just somebody to refocus you in this world of constant
Right.
bombardment.
When they can, like a good coach will have kind of a, you know, a more pulled back view, right? They'll have a broader view of what the athlete has, you know, because as an athlete, you're in the trenches because you have to perform, and so it's all tactical, right? So there's like two ways to look at something. There's tactical and strategic is the 30,000 foot view. So a good coach will kind of have that elevated view, so he can kind of see the things that you wouldn't see and don't need to focus on, right? And
Right.
just you focus on this because your job as an athlete is this, right? It's very narrow, right? Especially if you're on a team like football. Like if you're a wide receiver, you have one job: run the route, catch the ball, right? Maybe block.
Right, but if you're a nose tackle and the ball gets thrown into your arms and then you don't know where to go,
Yeah.
how's our big Ravens move this year? I think he was a nose tackle. That was fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, get your source from good news sources.
Yeah. And good luck sifting through all the stuff that's out there. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you want to get to?
I just want everybody to know that if they want to go to college, they're going to go to college.
Okay.
There is a school for them. C's get degrees all day long.
They do. Yep.
And you don't have to pay full price, but it might not mean that you're going to USC.
Right.
It might mean that you need to look at some other schools, like I did, which was Elon. And I'll tell you why I chose Elon. I was going to UVA. Mm-hmm. Jumped in the car with my friend and her mom because they were doing this college tour of the South. I just felt like getting away. I saw tons of schools, and when I got to Elon, well, first of all, Clemson scared me because it was homecoming. That was a lot coming at me. But when I got to Elon, I got invited to a party.
There you go.
That is how I made my college decision, and now I'm a college coach. But if you unwrap that, I went on college tours.
Yeah, I think that's a thing that.
And we didn't talk about that. Feet on campus. Your kid doesn't know what they don't know, and if you don't get them to the campus,
Right.
feel like, oh man, that's what I get to do. Go on vacation, go see the school close to wherever you are. Look at schools you would never think that you would go to. You might be surprised. And do the official tour and info session, because I've been doing this a long time and I can't even get the vibe without doing the official tour and info session.
Right. Yeah, and that's why they have them, you know.
Yeah, so I think that was just the only other thing that we didn't go over, is that you're going to learn a whole lot by visiting. And I'm a college nerd, so I love it, but I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's easy to see how passionate you are about this, and the College Sharks channel and what you're doing with that is, you know, trying to get to those people who wouldn't know or who feel overwhelmed, you know, those people who really want to do something but just don't know where to go. You know, I think it's a wonderful resource. I
Thanks.
really appreciate what you're doing there, because again, even though I didn't go, right, and I have no intentions on trying to do anything, but if you're serious about it, you know, if you're the parent of a child who is, you know, they can go, you know, they're serious, you know, they can handle it, right? You really do need to find someone like yourself, if
Yep.
not you, that can guide you through that process, like you said.
So here's the rub. It's $49 a month. Mm-hmm. And you get to watch everything back. So let's say you join today. You get to watch from August to today.
Right.
Jam it all in, but I'm not going to drop February content until February. That's it. It's $600 for junior and senior year.
Right.
Okay, I'm $6,500 to work one-on-one with.
Right.
And I'm cheap because you've got people with my same amount of knowledge, but they might have gotten more kids into Ivies.
Yeah.
That are going to charge you $25,
yeah.
and there's parents that are paying it.
Oh, yeah.
So also what I will say, if you have a student who you know has what it takes and they want to go to college and they don't have the support at home, call me, I'll put them in for free. It costs me no money to put a student in to my College Sharks program, which is virtual, on demand. It's me on video, woo woo, talking about certain things. I want to put that out to everybody because we should leave no one behind if they have a desire to
Exactly. Yeah, because we need them. We need them coming up. You know,
Yeah.
We used to lead in innovation, and we don't anymore. Well, we do in some areas, but we don't in others. We used to lead in manufacturing, industry, technology, finance, and a lot of that stuff is shifting, like globally. And so it used to be, remember when people used to come here for their education and then they would go back to their country, right? Now that still happens a lot.
They do.
But now it's like there's hot new places, you know, like everybody wants to go to Dubai now, you know.
Oh yeah, I think NYU has a campus there.
Right?
Yeah, things are changing, but the average SAT score in the United States is somewhere between 1010 and 1100. So when you're talking to your friends and they're shooting for higher scores, just remember you're okay.
Yeah.
You're okay. Yeah.
What? Yeah, I don't know if we covered this or not. So if we did,
I was going to say reading scores in the U.S. are in the toilet.
Learn how to read.
Learn how to read.
Well, you know what? You know what happened? Because nobody reads anymore.
Right. Well, get yourself a tablet and go look at my blog, and I'll tell you the 5 books that you should read next year if you're taking AP Lit, and you'll get an A in the class.
Yep. And look, like, but that's I think that's part of the thing too. When the rise of the digital device, not video games per se, but this thing right here, and short form content,
yep.
and all of its forms. Because when me and you were in school, we had to read the whole page. And if we did a book report, we had to read the whole book.
We highlighted.
And so you had to, like, even just a sentence, you have a start and then you have an end. And then when you've read it, you've completed something. So there was this task that you did to completion, and it was going in, whether you kept it or not, your brain did the work of reading the thing.
Yes.
And now you don't have to, or you have to much less. And I think that's one of the things that, especially at the early ages when kids are starting to learn how to read, and in middle school too, because that's when you start doing your book reports, is, you know, that comprehension and retention, right? And I see kids with it all the time. They don't know anything. They have, how can you have access to everything and you know nothing?
Also because we don't write things down. So there's power in writing something down and remembering it. There's power in having a vision board.
Right.
And
notes.
So I just bought a note taker for my business, and I hate it. I quit it because at the end of the meeting with the kid, I hadn't written anything down, so now I got to go back and watch the whole thing again.
Right.
Where if I had just been more present the whole time, I would have taken notes, I would have been better off. So I stopped with that. Because there's a powerful connection between your brain and the pen and the paper.
Yes.
And that's not going away.
And I forget who said it somewhere, but like this is back when because I do read a lot. And someone was like, look, when you write something down, you're 70% more likely to retain it and be able to recall.
Yep.
Why? Well, because if I'm writing something down, it means I read it. So I'm visually doing it. Mm-hmm. I'm tactilely doing something, physically engaging, you know. So you get to engage the senses when you write something down. And the more senses that you use when you're learning something, the easier it is for recall and retention. That's not me. I'm just not making that up. That's science. Google it.
Yeah.
Anything else? Like, so we touched on admissions, scandals, cost is a big one. The stress factor, where to find stuff, good information, mental health. Is there
building a good college list that's well-rounded that fits you?
Right. Let's dive into that a little bit. What would that look like? Because again, you know, let's say you're at the bottom end of that SAT range, right? And you know, like big schools are not going to do this, right? So that's what I wanted to ask you too. The gem of a school or the gem of a program that's a smaller school but you did. You said Lise McRae and somebody else.
In smaller private schools, their price tag's going to be higher, and they have more money to give away, right? So
Okay.
you're going to get more money. State schools have way less merit aid, but they start at a lower price point. So that is really important. But having that balanced list, there's something called the common data set. I can't wait to get the comments from this, because I will come back with facts for every single thing that you question or whatever. I'm not saying I'm right all the time,
Right.
but I base my business on facts. And there's something called the common data set. Colleges have to put that out. So you'll look at the middle 50% test score for that school.
Right.
You can also go on any website and look at the admitted class from last year. Do you fit? Do your stats fit? Then look at the admitted class for the architectural program at Virginia Tech. It's gonna be way different than the stats for the business program. So there's some due diligence that we all need to do, and the information is out there. So you have to get that, and you should have a few schools that you're gonna get into, because you exceed that middle 50% range for everything, GPA, et cetera. There's gonna be some schools that you fit right in and you're hoping to get some money from, and there's going to be schools that are reaches, and based on the institutional priorities of that school, you may or may not get in. So it doesn't matter how great you are and how wonderful you are and how Ivy League bound you are.
Right.
If that college wasn't looking for kids from your state,
Right. You're out.
peace out, and it's nothing to do with you. So it is not personal. You can't take it personal. Your personal job is to have, I think, 8 to 10 schools where you would be happy, and that it's a well-balanced range and list of schools. And I think you should always apply to at least one school in state. I don't care what your kid says. Anything could hit the fan at any time.
Right.
And that's always going to be the least expensive, usually, unless you get some huge scholarship from an out of private school. That's going to be your go-to if something goes wrong, and there are no guarantees in life. Coaches change, they leave schools, programs change, programs
They
get
could get-
removed
yeah, they
like
get
they did
defunded,
at WVU. Have a plan so that this time when you're a senior and you're rolling into February, you are stoked and you have options.
Well, Lee, I think that you have put out a lot of good information.
I gotta beat that horse.
Right. Well, but that's why I asked you on, because like, I love to learn stuff. There was, and again, not somebody that never went to college. Well, I mean, community college, but this, and I have a young child that might go, and so now I have something to think about, and I kind of know what to look for, right? Because I didn't know to look for those middle scores. You know what I mean? That's something strategic that, and you wouldn't know it as a parent. I didn't know it. I just now found that out. Why? Because I'm talking to somebody like you. So this is what a good consultant, a good guide, a good coach, these are the things that they will see that you will not. And this is the value of why you talk stuff over with them in the first place.
Clear the noise.
Clear the noise. I think that's a good place to leave it, unless you got anything else. So College Sharks is it College Shark or Sharks?
So College Sharks, we're actually rebranding, so everything will be under College Sharks. Right now, College Sharks is our virtual, on-demand, very inexpensive, video-driven platform.
Right.
AnnapolisCollegeConsulting.com is our one-on-one. That will fold under College Sharks soon. Mm-hmm. You can follow any of those on any social media platform and get great information, as well as on my LinkedIn page. So this isn't a sales pitch, but this is, you want to find the right resources.
Right. Yeah,
I got
we want
your
to point
resources.
you. Yeah, we want to point you towards Lee, because she's got really good resources, and
I love what I do.
Yeah. I mean, if you
I want everybody to love what they do.
if you can't tell that you love what you do, just talking.
And look, some places you need to have a college degree to get the job, like pharmaceutical.
Yeah. If you're in STEM, you got to have it.
Yeah,
If you want to be a doctor of any kind, you got to have that. Engineering,
but
architect.
guess what? Doctors can major in knitting and still go to med school. Did you know that? Well, they should probably be a surgeon if they majored in knitting. But that's another myth.
That.
You don't have to. You just have to take the science and pass the MCAT. But you don't have to be this pre-med kid. Have the bio classes done and major in something you like, and then have an epiphany and decide to apply to med school.
That is fascinating.
And law school.
I did not know
and
that.
all those other things. And now somebody's going to quote under their a discrepancy about that too. There are always asterisks on everything that I say, but overall, I'm just trying to give you good information.
And just kind of break down some of the myths or commonly or misconceptions about certain things. Because I certainly thought that if you're going to go to med school, you had to go to pre-med.
No, what you have to be is at the top of your class when you graduate from college. So Malcolm Gladwell has a video. It's on our new parent watch list on the College Sharks YouTube, but it's called "Why Did I Say Yes to This Talk?" And he talks about examples of, if you're going to go into some sort of business and it's a publish or perish kind of situation to make you successful, you're going to get published way more being at the top of your class at a school nobody knows about than the bottom of the class at an Ivy where you're still smarter than all of us and learned more, but now your self-esteem is down, your publishing rates go down. So just watch Ask Why I Said Yes to This Talk and you'll hear it from Malcolm.
Yeah, that's a smart dude right there.
Oh, he's so fun.
I like his stuff.
He's awesome.
Like, there's not a whole lot of people that I'm like big fanboys over or something like that, but there's like a handful that I would just love to just talk to for like 5-10 minutes, and just kind of pick their brain on stuff. But the thing is, they usually put all that stuff out for free anyway on one of their platforms. But then that's kind of the beauty of those kind of people, is because they just put it out there anyway. They're like, you know what, I think people might want to know about this.
Yeah, he makes $200,000 to talk to a group. He can do that. He sells books. But I mean, come on, he earned it. He's there. He revisits The Tipping Point and dispels things that he said in his first book.
Yeah.
He does revisionist history and fixes things we've been telling each other and history has been saying forever. And I think that shows a lot of strength of character. You could admit when maybe you were wrong or maybe your facts were off, and you re-deliver. I think that's so super cool. And now we have ChatGPT and all that. Let's hope we're teaching ChatGPT the right things.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to be done.
That's all right. Well, that's the thing. Like, we gotta, we're gonna stay until we get all that up. But I think I'm out. I'm out of stuff.
You're out of stuff. All right.
Well, Lee, thank you so much.
Thank
it's
you.
great to have you.
So fun.
And
wait, you wrote a book? Or is that you? Where's your book?
Those are me.
Look at that.
Yeah. Because I write books about stuff that, this one is, that was my journeys as an installer when I was in the trades. I used to be an installer. That's like sex, drugs, rock and roll, death, aliens, conspiracy theories.
I don't even know what this means.
Eponymous means it's named after something, like Murphy's Law, right?
Okay.
Murphy's Law, Moore's Law,
He didn't need to go to college.
Asimov's Law, right? And so, but like, I just had this idea where I was like, who are all these? It's like, and that's what the subtitle is like. Who's Murphy and why does he have a law? Right.
That's super cool. Congratulations.
And Murphy was a real guy. He was an Air Force captain, and he was working on the seat and seatbelt chassis of aircraft that were doing supersonic speeds. Right. And so that's where you get Murphy's Law, is like, if something can go wrong, it will. It really wasn't that. He was a safety guy. So what he did, he was like, double check it, triple check it, quadruple check it. And then people will be like, well, why do we have to do it? He said, because if something will go wrong, it will. And it'll happen at the worst possible time. He's like, so we're going to double, triple, and quadruple check it.
I love that. That's so cool. I learned something.
And
that's awesome.
That's where Murphy's Law came from, if you didn't know. Like, don't believe me? Google it.
Google it. Or read his book.
Google it. All right, and Lee, thanks for coming. You've been a very busy person. I wish you continued success. You've been all over the place. I wish you a very happy journey to the BVIs. All right?
Thank you.
You certainly deserve it.
I hope I come back. I might not.
You know what? I think you will, because you love this too much.
I do love this too much. And I love to work on college stuff in the summer, so bring it.
Yep, bring it on. You heard her. She's waiting for you. And with that, we'll catch you next time on the Business Builder Podcast. And
thank you.